rise in the morning time. Keep the faith, keep the faith.
It's your season.
It's your boy, Jules Judah. I got Tiffany. We got a message.
We all know some things happen for a reason. Don't let go, soon you'll be inside your new season. Just get ready, don't hesitate, for this is your day. Rejoice and be glad. Everything, there's a season. Time to laugh, time to cry. There's an answer to your question.
You got the answer.
Keep on holding on. So now, don't worry about the sunshine. Don't worry about no worries, no. Don't worry about your problems. Seasons to change. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry. We all go through seasons in life. There are times when we ask ourselves, why always me? Growing pains we go through are so necessary. Like a flower needs the sun and the rain to grow. Some things we'll never know. To everything there's a season. Time to laugh and time to cry. Time to laugh, time to cry. There's an answer to your question. Keep on holding on. Now don't worry. Don't worry about the sunshine. Don't worry. Don't worry about the rain. No worries, no. Don't worry about your problems. Seasons to change. Don't worry. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. We all go through seasons in life. Don't worry, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about the sunshine. Don't worry. Don't worry about the rain. Don't worry about your problems. Seasons to change. Don't worry about tomorrow. We all go through seasons in life. It's your season. I got mine.
Everybody say it's your season.
It's your season. It's your season. Time to shine. Time to shine. 'Cause tomorrow. Now don't worry. Don't worry about the sunshine. Your season is coming. Don't worry about the rain. Don't worry. Don't worry about your problems. Seasons to change. Don't worry about tomorrow. Oh no. We all go through.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 and welcome to Tina Speaks Today. And guess what? This is a special day because this is our MLK celebration episode. We don't know how long the show is going to be. We just decided to turn up and turn on. So we're here and you're here with us, and I'm so excited that I have this wonderful young man in the studio with me today. So this is what I need you to do. You know the rules. Figure out who you need to be to do it today. Grab 5 people and tell them we are on live, celebrating Martin Luther King. Before I finish a sizzle, because you know my little format, I need to give you a little bit of a backstory. Here's our backstory. Today is Martin Luther King's birthday. Arizona was the last state in the union to adapt this holiday. This evening at the Tempe Center for the Arts, the gentleman who signed the final signature to make it a holiday will be receiving an award for his work at AZ Project Heal. That's at Tempe Center of the Arts. Now, it means a lot to me because when I was 8 years old, I got a picture book that said, I Have a Dream. And that book had a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King on the front cover, and it had the actual photographs of his campaign, per se, throughout, all the way to his burial. The last picture, mind you, I'm 8, had Yolanda and Bernice standing next to their mother, staring down at the grave. And I said to my mom, what happened to their dad? Why don't they have a father? And that was the first time my mom really sort of put it into context. Some of the things I would hear my grandparents say, the black experience, as James Baldwin so beautifully wrote about, for me. It was the first time I realized that there is a such thing called hatred. There's a such thing called division, all because of color and not the content of your character. So at 8 years old, I became a philanthropist because I also heard one line in his speech. My mother had a vinyl record that was the I Had a Dream speech, right? I got to listen to it, and then I heard red, yellow, black, white children play together. I'm 8, so I'm going, why can't they play together? I play with all my friends. Why can't they play together? And it became almost a little life mission, and it activated something for me. That, yes, there's a lot of people who laid a lot of ground, and my mother was one of them. She had a big old Angela Davis afro with a dashiki talking about power to the people, and we went to go meet with people in New York City and, you know, the Anti-Defamation League, trying to shift laws for blacks, for Jews, for all kinds of people. But we are at a stage where democracy must work for us. It's supposed to be for the people, by the people. This is a republic that is activated through democratic processes. And what we have seen in the past is something called an oligarchy. An oligarchy means only the top 5 to 6% run everything because of their funding. Well, if your Social Security is actually a corporation, I'm just giving you a little information here. Your Social Security number is no different than a tax ID number. That means there's an intrinsic and fiscal value to your Social Security number. That means you have the right as a entity of the United States of America to make your voice heard. That's it. That's my soapbox. When we get back here, we're going to talk to this gentleman that when I heard his voice, I said, am I listening to Chocolate Velvet on a mic? Really? Really? Hareston Clay. I'm like, Chandra, Pernell Bond, where are you taking me this evening? And she's like, we're going to go over here and do such and such, and it's going to be a great little video. And she was dressed up in her little jazz outfit and her little hat to the side. And I'm going, where are we going? What is this place? I was pleasantly surprised, as I always am when I find wonderful talent that actually has the audacity to share it with the rest of the world. We'll be back here on the Tina Speaks Today show with Hareston Clay.
time I change up my style just to make a smile, baby. What you doing tonight? I wanna know, baby. Yeah. We can go dancing. Took me by complete surprise when I saw her walk in the room. When I saw her walk in the room, natural with that pretty smile. Lady, how can I get to know you? Because your eyes can tell me the story. They tell everything, and yours are telling me that you're feeling me, baby. Can we embark on the journey? Turn fantasies to reality. So don't look further, baby. What you been missing, baby? You can right here with me. What you been missing, baby? 'Cause I got what you need. I got what you need. I'll be lonely, baby. You can call on me. Call on me, baby. I can be your man. That's the point of being curious. We like what we see, and there's no doubt. We like what we see. Just for a change, can I be serious? Oh, just so you know what I'm all about. A man who handles his business. Provide a place you can feel secure. Secure. A woman who handles her business. Ain't got time for names, no time for games, and especially time to wait. You can find here what you need. I got what you need. I've been lonely, baby. You can call on me. Yeah, I can be your man. That look in her eyes. Love is something that you can't buy. I got what you need. Me, we're falling in love. Could it be that I could be? I can be your man.
Okay, we're back. Now, did you hear that voice? This is what I'm talking about. I'm sitting there going, yeah, whatever, local artist. Sorry, I could be a little bit of a snob. But when I heard him open his mouth, I said, what? What? Really? In the midst of this desert, in the middle of the valley, I heard Hareston Clay. His voice is absolutely fabulous, okay? I just love his voice. But before we get into that interview, I just want to make sure that I get to say this publicly, because I only get to say it tonight privately at the Tempe Center of the Arts, that I have the honor today to stand in my position as a delegate and UN ambassador to present to Pastor Quincy Carr his Volunteer Service Award on behalf of the 44th President of the United States of America in the White House for his years of service. So I'm very excited today to be able to present this to him. Here's his little medal. Here's his certificate from POTUS until the 21st. We still call him that. And his letter directly from President Obama. So I'm very proud to be able to present this to Pastor Quincy, who has built his online virtual congregation to those who may have been forgotten, of 17,000 people with multiple pastors that deal with specific issues of life. And we are very proud of his work. We are very proud of everything that he represents. So congratulations, Pastor Quincy Carr. And it's my pleasure to be able to stand in behalf of the President of the United States, Mercy Worldwide International, and the United Nations. Okay, now let's get into it. I did my little officiation. Hareston Clay is here with us today. And I'm telling you, I was blown away by your voice. Welcome to the Tina Speaks Show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you very much.
Well, let me ask you this question. Where have you been all my life? I mean, honestly, I was sitting there going, how come I don't know this artist. Now, MC Chella, a.k.a., that's her a.k.a., but when you hear me say Chandra, I'm saying MC Chella, who I got to peep one day on one of those apps. I'm not going to mention because they're not paying me to do so. And I was that's MC Chella. She rapping. Oh my gosh, girl. She always tells me the best artists, the best situations in Phoenix. I live here for 8 years, but for most of my living here, I worked in LA. Mm-hmm. So 3 days here, 3 days there. So I am so happy that I was able to be at your video shoot. Thank you for letting us be there.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you. Y'all added so much life and what we needed. So I'm very appreciative for y'all coming down. And big shout out to MC Chella.
MC Chella.
For showing love. I appreciate it.
Well, let me ask you, are you Phoenix born?
No, I'm actually from Akron, Ohio. Born and raised. I moved out here about 11 years ago.
Akron?
Yes.
You mean Akron, Ohio?
Like LeBron Akron.
Like that's where my cousins live. Kyle Bino, I love you. And the song that you guys were hearing before we started the show was Seasons by Tiffany Williams or Tanae Bino. Depends on what part of her career that you got. And they live in Akron. Wow. They are Akron folks. So, yeah, I remember going to visit them, and they asked me to come this Christmas, and I said, during the thaw. Yes. I'll see you then. Yes. Mayday. So there's a lot of wonderful music that's coming out of Akron, Ohio these days. And what made you move here? When did you move here?
I moved here in 2005, and it wasn't music related when I moved here. It was more just kind of finding my niche in life. Mm-hmm. So I started off in construction. I was working construction and looking for a new change, and the weather was great. I didn't have to shovel snow anymore. So
amen, hallelujah.
So I just came out here. I really, the singing thing really was on the back burner and kind of in the back of my mind at that point. It really wasn't what was driving me at that point. So, but being out here has been great. It's been a great experience. I don't see moving back to Ohio for anything. So
I don't see why. So to 2005, you're here. You're doing construction. You're not even thinking about singing, right? So what was the trigger?
Well, I had a diagnosis of heart failure, and I had to have open heart surgery at 34 years old.
What?
So that kind of put everything in perspective as far as your mortality, what you want to do in life, what you want to achieve in life, the things that you want to accomplish, and the things I hadn't done, because I had to make end of life decisions. Mm-hmm. So that kind of woke me up to like, well, if you get an opportunity after this is all over, just go for it. See what you have and see what you can do, and the things that you haven't done, do them, because you don't know if you're going to get a chance to do it again. So that was my motivation after, the surgery and the recovery, just kind of rediscovering myself and seeing, where I could take it and things that I wanted to accomplish and do in life. So just instead of existing, living.
Yes, I want to live. I understand that because, when you have a near-death experience or a death experience, I actually had an experience where I sort of died. And After that, nothing else matters. Every day counts. Every single day counts. So I'm so glad that you're here, 34 years old, to have that type of experience, even though it was tragic, but it's actually sort of a gift because you get to reboot, right, and decide everything and design everything from that point forward. And so, okay, so now what year are you talking about there?
That's 2013 into 14, so the end of 2013.
So that wasn't that long ago.
No. About 3 years.
Okay, so what, you came out of the hospital and started singing? What was the transition?
I had a friend of mine, at the time, and he had went through a similar ordeal, and he had a studio, a home studio, and he said, "Well, when you get better, come check me out." And I said, "Okay," but he hadn't ever heard me sing or anything. I really wasn't doing anything, so I went to go check out his studio. And I always used to joke with people. I like, all I need is one time in the studio. One time in the studio, I'm gonna do some damage. And so I got my one time in the studio, but I just never had the. I didn't realize I was, I had a voice until I started singing. And
so you had heart failure and you were deaf.
Yeah. Well, me singing was kind of like, I would joke around at work and, people would say, "Oh, man, shut up. Nobody want to hear that." You know what I mean? That type of thing. So I never really just put stock into it. But after I got done singing at his studio, he was working on a song and he was like, "Man, you can sing. You can sing. I've known you all this time. You can sing." I'm like, well, I just kind of really started discovering that. So
better late than never.
So it just went from there, and it just kept going, and I ran into some really great people and great friends along the way, and started going to vocal training and tighten up, because again at that particular point when I started singing, my chest wasn't strong. I didn't have enough air, and you can kind of hear it in some of the earlier work. It just, the power wasn't there. So learning and discovering how to do that, and working with my vocal coach, he really got me up to speed on trying to develop that voice.
Whoever your vocal coach is, thank
Thomas
you.
Collette. Thomas Collette.
Thank you, because what I experienced on Thursday night, I had to go, what? Real? And I'm a musical snob. I'm just going to tell you. I'm a musical snob. I've been blessed to have a pretty good career in representing producers. So that means I got to hear multiple types of singers. And then I did artist development for EMI Direct for their senior VP. So before the artist would actually get signed, they would come to our house and get an education. Right. So we would have them listening to different things, work with trainers, work with writers. My philosophy was write your music, don't be pimped, don't be punked. I don't care if you do the ditty and come in and press a button. Get your writers. Get your writers. But, I'm a snob a little bit when it comes to singing. And for me, it's not about skills. It's about believability. If I can't believe you when you're singing, then join a chorus line or something. There's still good work there. But don't force people to listen to your runs if there's nothing behind them runs. Right. Okay? So what I heard with you was something that I really believed. Right? It made me stop and go, what? I've heard a lot of singers. There's only a few singers I'll stop and go, wow, everybody needs to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this. You got to hear what I just found, because it's like, a good restaurant. I found a good restaurant. Y'all got to eat there. They got the best chicken. I was like, everybody's got to hear Hareston Clay.
Thank you.
Everyone has to hear that, because you're a true talent, and your story makes it even more powerful, because you didn't just decide one day you're going to sing. And sometimes many of us who were raised in the Baptist church, the little 4-year-old sang, okay? But they ain't never been through nothing. So when I'm talking to them and I'm going, what you been through? Talking about in times like these, you need a savior. You 5. What are you talking about? You're 5 years old. What you been through? And what I heard was an investment of you. I heard resonance to your voice. It only comes through pain and decision and desire. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now the project that I heard, I was at the music video shoot, and you'll get to see me because I got my mud cloth little sweater on, and I'm going, what's going on? I'm actually in this video? Okay, chill out. Okay, but what I heard And whoever the chick was in the red dress, all I can say, she was wearing that red dress. I had chick envy for a moment. I was like, there's my curves. They just went to her. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But I understand it was a series.
Right.
So explain the series a little bit.
Okay, so with the whole overall project, the album that's coming out is entitled Smooth Motivation. And at the beginning of last year, most of it was done. I was just going to release it as an EP, but I wanted videos associated with it. And with the videos associated with it, I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson and, you know, his legacy that he left behind. And I felt like his videos always had a story. It always had a storyline. And I wanted to follow that same template. You know, I wanted to have a story, but I wanted to do it from a trilogy standpoint, you know. So when I reached out to Janae, who's the model that you were talking to, I told her, look, I want to do 3 videos. I'd like to have you featured in all 3. And we'll see where it goes. You know, we'll get through it and see what happens. And she was on board. She's like, yeah, let's do it. So the first song, we had done a video, myself and AJ is the director and also my business partner, friend, real cool guy. He arranged 4-2, he produced 4-2. I wrote the lyrics to it, and so it just kind of flowed from there. We did an original video for 4-2, and we were like, it was great. It was good. I won't say it was great. It was good. And so we just looked at it and said, man, we can do better. We can do better. Let's go back to the drawing board. So Be Your Man was the next video in the set of the trilogy. We wanted to get 4-2 out just because it was a single at the time and just kind of see where it fell. So Be Your Man. So the storyline is basically Be Your Man meeting, boy meets girl. Afterlife is the breakup. You know, you break up. And then now 4-2 Love Another Day is kind of the conclusion of it. Kind of see what happens after the breakup. Do they get back together? Do they, you know, stay apart? You know, what happens at this point? So I kind of want to leave that mystery out there. But
I like that. We're going to take a quick break here on Tina Speaks Today, and we'll be back with Hareston Clay.
So again, we're meeting here today basically to look over the numbers for the last year and kind of where we're going this year. Star Financial's done a wonderful job. I think the main issue that we're having is a lack of employees and financial advisors to take on our new client base. So I think that this merger with Project West Global is going to be great for us. Again, in 2015, we had a $1.5 million revenue. In 2016, we're actually looking to more than double that and have a revenue of about $3.5 million.
I'm here with your contract. It has to be signed within 48 hours. There's one thing to this contract. You will be moving to the Middle East.
I'm actually ready to sign the contract right now.
Thank you.
You gotta be tripping. You're coming up to my job like this? I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, Hareston. You have some nerves. Well, guess what? I'm done anyways. I got a new job and I'm out of here.
what do you mean you
Don't call my phone. Don't come up to my job again. I'm done.
Love has its own energy. If that's the case, how can it be destroyed? If 2 people love one time, that love lives on somewhere. We die, even though I know you're still alive somewhere. We try, we're no longer lovers, girl, but I still care. Longing for you walking through the night. I'm lonely, I'm hungry, I'm searching for your love. I'm left with memories, yeah, living happily. Somebody told me that love's immortal. You always live to love another day. Well, I believe that there's a lover's afterlife, a heaven for the ones who got away. And love's so strong that it can last forever, save you from the ravages of time. No matter who you with or who you love, baby, you are mine. If only in my mind. Ooh. Hey, I cry. I know there come a day you won't remember me. Oh, I pray, praying for forgiveness like your God above, and that I found a place inside your heart.
That was a resume to be my man, okay? The consideration would be very high. See, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And I usually add an addendum when a brother comes to me and says, I found my wife, girl. You know, you my woman. And I go, you can find a job too. Doesn't mean you get hired. So that application would have a consideration. I'm just saying. I think I have a musical crush on you. Is that okay to say on camera? You probably have a lot of those. I am a fan. I am a fan. And the engineer that is working on this show today, Mr. J, I will call him that, does not like R&B at all. And he is loving what you are putting into the universe. So I'm grateful for that, because he always calls it purple music. You know, that purple sex music. I ain't into that. I ain't into that. And I'm like, come on, there's such a legacy within our community. Yeah, Mom. I'm not into that. So on this MLK Day, you know, I am celebrating the voice of freedom. And that voice of freedom is not necessarily just about activism. We have our own actionism and living our purpose, right? That's the action. And so I always challenge my audience to operate in their gifts, because otherwise you're robbing the rest of the world and the rest of the universe of the brilliance that's inside of you. So thank you for that. So we're going to continue on our little discussion. There goes my microphone. I do that at least once a show. This whole saga, now you know life imitates art. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know, is Hareston single? Because I know the chicks watching right now are going, what's his Facebook? Like, what how do we hit the brother up?
You can follow me on Facebook.
That was a very good answer.
Yeah, I'll just put it like that. You can follow me on Facebook. You can friend me on Facebook. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. He must be running for president. Oh, that's already happened. That's not good enough for me, okay?
Okay.
Because I know that, let me put it this way. When I heard you singing that song, I believed you. I believed there was a situation that you went through.
Yes.
There was something that you experienced that you were able to relay that message in a believable way. So you may not want to talk about your current status, but what is the inspiration behind that song?
Afterlife. Oh wow, that song for me is really probably one of the deepest songs I wrote. It's when in relationships, the energy that's created, there's an energy with love. And when you part ways, however you part ways, whether it be a breakup, whether it be death, however it is, what happens to that energy? Where does that energy go? You know, and so when I was thinking about it, and writing about it, that energy, I believe there's a lover's afterlife, you know, where you exist with that person, whoever that person is, and that love lives on somewhere. Even if it's in your mind, that love lives on somewhere.
You can't undo it.
Yeah, you can't undo it. That energy never breaks. And even if you grow, and I say love, hate is just a different type of love. If you really, I mean, you love that person at one point, you know. So hate even carries over to, well, I love that person at one point. I may not like them a lot right now, but you know, it's still an energy. It's still an energy behind it. So that came from a personal place. I'll admit that.
Oh, he's a close buck. Hareston Clay's close buck. We just need him on 2 more times. Tina Michelle will crack the code. We'll crack the code. We'll crack the code. You know, it's for me. It's always beautiful to see a man be vulnerable because it's not weakness.
Right.
It's actually strength. It's very easy to be egoic. It's very easy to be a bully. It's very easy to be boastful, but it's very difficult to say, here I am, naked, and I'm giving you my story because hopefully it'll get you through yours.
Right. I totally agree with that. And that again, and writing it from a personal level, it's a human story because we've all experienced breakup on one,
and heartache.
And that's what it is. It's the heartache, you know, and that, you know, that wishing that the other person, like I said, and writing it, you know, the verses, you know, you're living happily, I'm still here, you know, left with memories. And sometimes that, you know, those memories are what kind of haunt you. You know, what was heavenly is now tormenting me. You know, those type of phrases in how I wrote it, because it was heavenly at one point. Now it's this torment that just bothers you and a lot of times the reason why that is because there's no closure.
There's no closure.
And if you don't have the closure, then where does that energy
go? See,
go?
that's the danger to me with friends with benefits and stuff like that, because there's no opening of the relationship, so there's no closing of the relationship.
Right.
It just sort of lingers, right? So it's almost easier when you sort of have some kind of a psychological and emotional divorcement, so you can say, finished. From this point now, this is ground zero, I rebuild.
Right.
Have you had people come to you ever after listening to your songs, which are very real and very tangible, and say, thank you for saying that out loud?
I have had a couple. Yeah, I had a couple that it moved them. I had one person tell me that it moved them to tears. I had a couple people say that. And it was really because they had just experienced a breakup. So, you know, just talking with them, it kind of, you know, touched on those issues. Because, I mean, I look at it as that's a human story. We've all gone through that, no matter, you know, rich, poor, black, white. You know, those are the stories I want to talk about, human stories. And, again, through my personal experience, be able
Which he will not disclose.
It's deep. It's deep. I'll just put it like that. It's deep. That's why I wrote it in the way that I wrote it. It's on multiple. It's an onion. It has different layers. It's
complicated. Whatever. We've all had that experience. So, I mean, people tell the truth. You know, when I see a woman saying, I'll never give my heart, or a man say, I'll never give my heart, you know, I always warn them about those type of inner contracts, because now you close your heart off to the possibility. Right. And actually, we're sort of working out on our spiritual show, working on inner contracts. I will never do this. I will never trust this. And those are inner contracts, right? So that comes from deep emotional pain.
Right.
And those are probably more powerful agreements than the agreements you make with other people, because those are just between no one knows you just made that agreement.
Right.
And there's no disclaimer sign on your forehead when someone approaches you that she has an inner contract to say, screw you, no matter what you do, right? So I appreciate artistry and expression because it unjars you subconsciously. You don't even know what's happening.
Right.
And it makes you think about it. Those things come up and you go, I wonder where I am in that song.
I know where I am in that song.
Well, you wrote the song. You're the criminal. I just don't know. My audience just don't know. Okay, but that's okay. He likes to be an intrigue. An intrigue. It's okay. But what I do want to know is, as you are sort of shaping this project, right? It's a movie, right? It's sort of a saga and installations. Is this a full album or is it a?
It's going to be a full album because it started off with just the EP, and we just kept going. I kept going to the studio, working with AJ, and we had I started off with 5 songs, and then 5 songs turned into 12, and then the actual 4-2 Love Another Day was just basically us playing around. He was on the piano, and we were recording because we're trying to put shows together and get that type of thing going. So let's see how we sound. Let's see how this sounds. And he started on that piano, and he just killed it. And I said, man, that sounds good. And then I started singing.
The piano complements the words and everything because it's very soulful and cagey and loving and expressive. And I was listening to it before you started shooting. He was playing, and I was like, wow, this dude goes all the way in.
Yes.
And then when I heard your voice on top of it, I said, what a beautiful compliment to your voice.
Oh, thank you.
What a beautiful compliment. Sometimes I hear people play together. I'm like, it's not clicking. It's just not clicking. You guys definitely click, and it was hard for me to realize as we were sort of, pretending to talk, for your video. We were sitting next to one of the musicians there that you guys just sort of met maybe a week or so before that.
Right. The interesting part of it is we all worked together in some way or form. So the drummer and the guitarist, Cornell and Malik, worked together. Malik worked with AJ. The bass, Chris, I worked with Chris. Chris and AJ and I worked together. So then it was just a matter. And then Malik worked with AJ as well. So all of us got together and were like, okay, well, I know a guitarist, I know a drummer. AJ's like, I know a guitarist and a drummer. I was like, well, I know the bass player. I will get the bass player. And then so we all have this kind of common, we all work together without working together.
That was, and it sounded like you guys have been playing together forever.
Oh, it was awesome, and just when we did the rehearsal, we were so hype off of the rehearsal, and I almost want to release that as a bonus single.
You need that for your social.
On there,
you gotta have social bites for people behind the scenes.
It was great. Just the energy that those guys, they're true professionals. When they step on behind their instrument in front of it, just true professionals. And it was just a joy to work with them and get that energy and feel it. And
you could feel it. It was awesome. So when do you expect to release this single? What's the date? This
single will be March, and I'm keeping March just kind of fully open because I have another single that I want to drop and another video that I want to shoot associated with the album. But I want to release this video at the top of March, and then
the next one.
And yes, 4-2 Love Another Day, and then release the album maybe the middle of March.
So the whole project will be out.
A whole project will be out
in the middle of March.
Right.
And we could be looking for this single around March. The beginning of March. Gosh, you are full of ambiguity. Okay. But that's good. I guess, because it keeps people going, what's really going on in his mind? What's really happening? But okay, so here's my next question. When are you going to be performing? I mean, I want to see you doing a full set somewhere.
That's what we are working on diligently right now, is getting everybody in play. Those guys in particular, Malik, Cornell, AJ, and Chris, and finding the venues that will have us there. That's our goal this year, to be performing regularly. So we're working out our set list right now. And then, not to sound mysterious, but hopefully very soon we'll be performing. We just want to be tight. We want to make sure we're tight when we go out there. We want to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's crossed.
Okay.
You know,
Okay, I can appreciate that. What's your website so that people can go and check out your music and everything that you're doing?
HarestonClay36.com.
Now, is that ambiguous too? Is there like dates and?
Well, the 36 is basically when I was growing up, Scottie Pippen was my favorite basketball player, and his number was 33. He won 3 more championships. I couldn't take number 33 as his number, so I took 36.
So you're 36.
I'm 36.
So it's Hareston Clay
36.
.com.
.com.
Okay, and that's Hareston, Hareston. We know that most of us have ADD, so if you try a few times and you don't get to it, please spell it correctly. Then you'll get to his website. Well, I really appreciate your contribution to the universe.
Thank you.
And I really love your voice. I love everything you have to give to people when it comes to a real experience for the part that you want to answer, of course. The part that you're willing to answer. And please make sure that we are updated so that we can participate in your shows and maybe be in your next music video as an extra.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I like that. That was fun.
Definitely.
That was a lot of fun. And you were at the Nash on Thursday, and I just want to shout out to the Nash. They were a very cute venue. They seemed to be very accommodating.
Kate Hastings and Carrie, the engineer that worked it, they were just, awesome. They facilitated all our needs and everything we needed. So, yeah, big shout out to the Nash. Really appreciate what they allowed us to do and create. So, yeah, I'm excited for them as well, because they were excited as well.
I was excited to be there because they're all about education, and that's what we're all about.
Right.
We're all about education also, and showing the collective of artistry that is actually here, because I believe Phoenix is on fire. You're just going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out here on Tina Speaks Today. So we're going to close out, and I asked you for a favor, so could you go ahead and do that for me?
Well, okay. All right. You work hard, I notice it, I appreciate it. Saying thank you is never enough. So let me show you, baby. Jump inside of my ride. We'll go cruising, baby. Leave your cares and your worries behind when I take you on a weekend getaway just for two.
Lord have mercy. Got you saying all those things your grandmama used to say. Woo, Jesus, Lord have mercy. That is Hareston Clay, y'all. Go to Hareston Clay 36.com. Get the information, get the download, buy his project, purchase it, support the artwork, and we will check you out next time on Tina Speaks Today. We're not going to be gone for long. Don't forget, this is MLK Turn Up Day. It's MLK Turn Up Day. So we'll be back with some of the people who are performing tonight at the Tempe Center of the Arts, and I do believe we have Buddy Strong coming in the studio. So that makes me very excited. Very excited. Talk to you soon here on Tina Speaks Today.
Saying
world takes offense at a day in your celebration, 'cause we all know in our minds that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you, and I'm sure you would agree. What could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I just never understood how a man who died for good could not have a David Wood. He said, aside for his recognition, because it should never be just because some cannot see. The dream is clear as he, that they should make it become an illusion. And we all know everything that each different time will bring, or in peace our heart will sing. Thanks to Martin Luther King. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Why has there never been a holiday? Yeah. Where peace is celebrated all throughout the world. Time is overdue for people like me and you, who know the way true is love and unity to all of God's children. Should be afraid of it, and the whole day should be spent in full remembrance of those who lived and died for the oneness of all people. So let us all begin. We know that love can win, but I don't hold it in. Say it loud as you can. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy Ooh, yeah. We know the key to unity of all people is in the dream that you had so long ago that lives in all of the hearts of people who believe in unity. We'll make the dream become a reality. I know we will, because our hearts tell us so.
doesn't make much sense. There ought to be a law against anyone who takes offense at a day in your celebration. 'Cause we all know in our minds that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you. And I'm sure you would agree, what could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I just never understood how a man who died for good could not have a David Wood. He said, aside for his recognition, because it should never be just because some cannot see. The dream is clear as he, that they should make it become an illusion. And we all know everything that each different time will bring. Or in peace our heart will sing. Thanks to Martin Luther King. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Why has there never been a holiday? Yeah. Where peace is celebrated all throughout the world. Time is overdue for people like me and you who know the way true is love and unity to all of God's children. Should be a great event, and the whole day should be spent in full remembrance of those who lived and died for the wonders of all people. So let us all begin. We know that love can win. Let it out, don't hold it in. Say it loud as you can. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy Ooh, yeah. We know the key to unity of all people is in the dream that you had so long ago that lives in all of the hearts of people.
Hello. Happy birthday to you, Martin Luther King. The piece you're about to see here on We Are TMTV is Martin Luther King giving a speech in 1967 at Stanford University called The Other America. Now, many of us don't realize that different people have different experiences, even though you can be in the very same place. I remember talking to my own child saying, your experience in Phoenix was different than mine because of our cultural circles. My experience in New York City is different than other people because I was a musician and an artist, where most people are like, oh, those people coming out of the subway. And I'm like, I didn't deal with the suits. That wasn't part of my lifestyle. I dealt with people after they left, right? So it was a whole different culture, where it's the same thing when you're dealing with people of color, people from different nationalities. There's another type of experience that they're having, and we need to pay attention. People like Dr. Martin Luther King came so that we would be able to experience a different America, yet the same America. Same freedoms, same rights, same liberties, same opportunities, education, the ability to take care of your children, the ability to purchase a house. That was what he did. Now it's up to us to have the next conversation. What will you do with your freedom? Enjoy this documentary here on TMTV on MLK Day 2017.
Dean Napier, Mr. Bell, members of the faculty and members of the student body of this great institution of learning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are several things that one could talk about before such a large, concerned, and enlightened audience. There are so many problems facing our nation and our world that one could just take off anywhere. But today I would like to talk mainly about the race problem, since I'll have to rush right out and go to New York to talk about Vietnam tomorrow, and I've been talking about it a great deal this week and weeks before that. But I'd like to use as a subject from which to speak this afternoon the other America. And I use this subject because there are literally two Americas. One America is beautiful for situation. And in a sense, this America is overflowing with the milk of prosperity and the honey of opportunity.